Welcome to the Aaron L. Show. We're going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. The NFL kicked off their season last night, and a lot of big names was in the headlines. Parsons got traded to Green Bay. There was a lot of people that felt like Dallas was going to suffer in a lot of areas missing this guy. They did not want to give the guy Marshawn Keelan his respect that Dallas Cowboys traded for with a couple of first-round picks for Parsons, and the game kicked off. We had the notable names out there for Dallas, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb. The Eagles got hurt. They got that ferocious defense, Saquon Barkley in the backfield, and it definitely was a game that a lot of people anticipated was going to be a good game, and it was a good game. Now, I think what shocked a lot of people was, and I believe probably a lot of bettors and spectators and just a lot of people that watched that game, was that the Philadelphia Eagles was going to come out and just obliterate Dallas Cowboys because they traded Parsons. And what you saw as that game was being played and game was being progressed is that, for one, Dallas Cowboys was able to run the ball. That's the first thing I realized. Williams, he had 15 carries for 54 yards, 3.6 yards a carry with 2 touchdowns. Now, that wasn't a monster game, but you have to realize that was enough to keep Dallas in the game, to keep the Eagles honest. Even though Carter got kicked out the game early, before the game kicked off. Dak Prescott, he, said he was just spitting on the ground. He spits a lot during the games. And Carter mistaken Dak Prescott for trying to spit on him. So he approached him, and I guess he asked him, was he trying to spit on him or whatever? And then Carter spit on Dak Prescott right before the game. So that got him kicked out. So really, if you really look at the 15 carries for 54 yards with 2 touchdowns that Dallas did get out of Williams, if Carter was in the middle, it could have been a little less, because that guy's ferocious in the middle and he's a force. So, but, besides that, Dallas did put up a great fight. I'm pretty sure a lot of people felt like the Eagles were going to beat Dallas by at least 2 touchdowns or better. But going through that game, Dallas was leading the game and the Eagles were playing catch up. The guy Marshawn Keelan, he did get 3 tackles and 1 sack, the guy they traded for. So he had a great game. At nose tackle, 3 tackles and a sack for the season opener was a good game. So Dallas didn't get no scrub. That dude ain't no scrub. That dude can play ball, But then we look at Prescott. He threw 21 times and completed. He threw 34 times and completed 21 passes for 188 yards. He had a subpar game, but CeeDee Lamb caught 7 catches for 110 yards. So, Dallas looked good. But see, what the problem was is the same thing that Jerry Jones said. They need to stop the run. They need to stop the run. And then you go over here and look at Hurts. Jalen Hurts, he 19 for 23 for 156 yards. Now, he didn't throw for a touchdown or an interception, but he did carry the ball 14 times for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then you got Saquon Barkley coming back though with the 18 carries, 60 yards and 1 touchdown. So they got 3 touchdowns on the ground with a field goal, which ultimately won the game. So it's like, hey, can you say, hey, if Parsons was out there, Hurts wouldn't have been getting a lot of those runs. They wouldn't have ran for 3 touchdowns. That's kind of a wobbler. But I will say that the Dallas Cowboys did look like a playoff team. Now, what the problem was is if you really watched that game or you saw the highlights, you have to really take a look at it and say Dallas had an opportunity to win that game. They was driving down, and CeeDee Lamb, even though he had 7 catches for 110 yards, CeeDee Lamb dropped some critical passes. I give Dak his props because he was hitting CeeDee Lamb right in the breadbasket, and if you an elite receiver on the level we know CeeDee Lamb is on, those are catchable passes. Those were catchable passes, man. He was throwing them right in the breadbasket, and CeeDee Lamb just couldn't pull them in. And this be the problem with a lot of these players, just like everybody saying, hey, why Jerry Jones didn't pay Parsons? A lot of these players, they get that money and just like CeeDee Lamb, you done got your big payday this offseason, and now for some reason you can't catch. All of a sudden you can't catch. But the year before, when you was up for contract, you was pulling it in with a fingertip. So Jerry Jones, he probably felt like, hey, look, I done paid Dak. I done gave CD his money. I got some young players that's up and coming. They going to give me 2 first-round picks and give me a nose tackle that's a Pro Bowler. I'm going to go on and make this trade, and then we're going to just see how the cards play out. You know what I mean? You got to be smart. You can't go bankrupt trying to sign everybody. Everybody feel like you need to have on your team. Let Parsons go, get 2 first-round picks. I get a Pro Bowl D tackle. I can come back in next year and get a high draft pick linebacker or something like that. He might not be Parsons, but at the end of the day, the boy going to be nice. Grab you a top 10, top 15 linebacker next year. Grab you a young quarterback. Prescott is starting to age. He got 3 first-round picks next year. Man, the man put himself in position. You know what I mean? But you have to also look at the fact that Dallas is going to have to clean up that running game, because you have run pass option quarterbacks all over the league. And if you're going to let Jalen Hurts hit you for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns and then come back with Saquon Barkley hitting you for another 18 carries with 60 yards, that's 100-some yards on the ground right there with 3 tugs. You can't allow that, or you're not going to beat the majority of the teams in the league, because once they realize you can't stop the run, then they going to attack you like that, and then it turns around with the play action fake. You know what I mean? And now you got your defense all offset, and now y'all can't sustain the game. But what I will say is Dallas Cowboys put up a hell of a fight. They look like a playoff team. Dak Prescott looked as sharp. If he can stay healthy, I believe the future for Dallas is great. That nose tackle looked good. They got a 2nd-round draft pick they pulled, I think, last year, or he been in the league 2 years. The kid looked good. The linebacker core looked good. Everybody was stepping up aggressive. The defensive scheme looked good. And you got to give Dallas Cowboys their credit. They had an opportunity to win that game. They just missed. You know what I mean? They just missed certain passes. Certain stops they needed, they just couldn't get. You can't put it all on CD Lamb. Yeah, CD did miss a couple of passes that'll make you step back and look and go, man, if they would have caught that, that could have been a game right there. Yeah, it would have put them in field goal range, but you still had to score. You was down 4 points. So really look at the fact that, okay, you got Jalen Hurts. He's backing up. He's rolling out, rotating, and doing all he's doing, and then he's leaving the pocket running. If they could have stopped some of those plays, it would have put them in position. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and then you had that fumble, by the running back on Dallas, which gave up the ball. So then it was just like, Dallas made more than just the CD Lamb drops, them mistakes. It was more than that hurt him. You know what I mean? Dak Prescott looked good. Jalen Hurts looked good. But overall, I think what happened was it was the tush push. A lot of those 3rd and 1s that the Eagles were getting, they couldn't stop that. And then you turn around and just say it was a couple of mistakes that Dallas made at critical situations that just made them lose the game. But, that's all I got. And that's my take on the Dallas Cowboys and the Eagle game. This is the Aaron L. Show. I'll be back at y'all with another one.